how fast we can push ourselves, and they show us what happens when the mental strain is just too much. So last night, as our bleeding country reeled from yet another body blow, it was once again sports that had to reflect the moment, had to decide how to move forward, or even whether to move forward at all. In Miami, the Heat and Celtics discussed not playing very seriously. So seriously, in fact, well, hear it straight from Boston coach Brad Stevens.
We just scrapped warm-ups and sat in the locker room and talked. And to be honest, at 30 minutes, I didn't think we were playing. And then coaches left the room, players finished talking and chose to play. So, I called my wife and told her I don't think we're playing. And then, 10 minutes later, we had decided to.
They did indeed decide to play, but first they knelt during the national anthem, a decision that was echoed in Phoenix by a ring of unity from the Raptors and Suns, and on bended knee again by the Clippers and Warriors, several of whom wore T-shirts saying Black Lives Matter. In Milwaukee, they knelt after tip-off. Both the Bucks and the Pistons, on each team's first possession of the game, knelt for 7 seconds to signify the 7 times Kenosha police shot Jacob Blake point blank and in front of his children over the summer. Blake's shooting was once again front and center in Wisconsin after a grand jury failed to indict any of the officers involved. The rationale being that such an excessive use of force was justified. The hypocrisy of that was exposed less than 24 hours later when police in D.C. largely just acquiesced to a group of rioters with guns storming the U.S. Capitol. It was yet another stark reminder of the different set of rules for white people in America versus those of color, a sting that was frankly felt all over the league.
Could you imagine today if those were all black people storming the Capitol and what would have happened? So that to me is a picture that's worth 1,000 words for all of us to see, and probably something for us to reckon with again. No police dogs turn on people, no billy clubs hitting people, people peacefully being escorted out of the Capitol. So it shows that you can disperse a crowd peacefully, I guess, would be the one thing.
It just goes to show the policing system was built against black people, black and brown people. And that's the reason those reactions are different. That's the reason someone can walk or run or bust their way through or whatever into the Speaker of the House office and put their feet on the desk like they're sitting at home on their couch. And nothing happens.
What happened today in particular is nothing but a joke. With everything that's going on, the losses of many African-American lives and the plight of people of color, and then for these human beings to come out and act like they're being discriminated against because they lost a fair election or that they have to wear masks is a complete joke. Our president-to-be, Joe Biden comes out and says, America, we're better than this. This is un-American. But to be honest, I'm 20 years old, but I feel like this is as American as it gets. I think today was of my lifetime, probably the biggest flex of white power and white privilege that there is.
We see the two different USAs that we live in. It's sad. It truly is. It's sad. But all in all, we came to the conclusion, look, man, we're going to go hoop. We know what it is. You can't fool us. You're not fooling nobody else. But like I said, it's just sad, man. And everybody sees it. Everybody knows it now. Like, you can't say that you don't understand it.
We just made a decision as a whole just to take a knee. But, my personal opinion, that wasn't enough. I don't think we should have even played. But, we did, and, we came together and, we thought taking a knee was, appropriate.
I would have been all for the league just shut down. I think this was something that definitely should have been addressed. But there's a middle line to it. There's a fine line to it. because it does give some positivity. But I definitely would have been all for if the league shut down today, to kind of just, bring light to what's really going on in the world.
This tweet from Cavaliers coach J.B. Bickerstaff, quote, "My 8-year-old little girl told my wife she was scared to go to sleep because of the fear that those bad people in D.C. would come to Cleveland." How many of us spent part of yesterday trying to explain all this to our kids? I know I did. How many of us watched what unfolded on our televisions yesterday with the same sickness in our stomachs that you heard there in Doc Rivers' voice? Sports are a mirror for who we are, and right now we are hurt, and we are tired, and we are broken. But we are also still moving forward. That hope that one day things will be better, sometimes despite years of failure, that is, of course, one of the prime parts of being a sports fan, and a reflection of who we are as humans, too. There is always a chance to turn things around, one game at a time, or in our country's case, one day at a time. Let's see how we do. And now I would like to welcome in 8-time All-Star Vince Carter, 2008 NBA champ Kendrick Perkins. Vince, what was your reaction to the events that took place in our nation's capital yesterday, and how the NBA community once again had to respond?
Painful. It was sickening, disgusting. But I think a lot of these guys said it best. You're seeing the privileges in what you can and what you cannot do, and who can do it and who cannot do it. And once again, hats off to the NBA, all players buying in, coming together for a common goal. It didn't really matter of who you voted for. Seeing everybody come together. I mean, you're just seeing this here, and Doc Rivers said it. And a lot of my friends, we had a conversation in our group chat, and the one thing we said is, can you imagine, like, look, you see these folks walking in right now. Mm-hmm. You would probably see every one of those bodies on the ground in bloodshed. More than likely. More than likely.
Perk, I know you feel that way.
Well, I do. And everything that the NBA Brotherhood has stood for and is still standing for, I'm all in with it, Rachel and Vince. And I think, you could tell from the coaches to the players, they were speaking from the heart. And once again, they're using their platform. We didn't hear pregame nothing about basketball. We didn't hear postgame nothing about the performance that they had on the court. They talked about the real life issue at hand. And that's what transpired yesterday at the nation's capital. Here's my problem. And I tweeted this out yesterday, that I blame one person for all of this. And that old saying that came out way before any one of us time, one bad apple spoils the bunch. This is what happened. This is what's happening right now in America. And we was already divided, but now we even more divided. And I hear J.B. Bickerstaff talking about his kid and how they're scared. And all the parents out there in the world that have kids can relate to that, even myself. But past that, I'm scared for myself and the safety for everyone in the United States. Because if you look at the situation, no one could tell me that action, that wasn't planned. And so with that being said, I don't know what else is planned. I don't know what else someone else is thinking to do right now in the next couple of weeks or the next couple of months, or what people are plotting to do to anybody at any given time or any given place in the United States. And my problem that I have with it, I hear everyone saying is, and they're right, that if it was African Americans that was doing that, they would be shot dead, or it would be more bodies or more murders than just 4. But one thing I could say too to add to that is that if there was President Obama in that situation and conducting himself like President Trump is doing right now, we wouldn't. He probably would have been leaving out of the White House in handcuffs, and it's just not right. And once again, it just shows that we are living in two separate countries, 2 different Americas, and it just shows the privilege. And I'm very hurt by it.
I felt like that point was so eloquently made so many times yesterday, and there's a reason we showed you guy after guy after guy, because It's important to see the breadth of NBA players speaking out on this. Vince, I'm curious, you played 22 years in the NBA. How have you seen things evolve that players were getting to that point last night where they were speaking so much truth to power and so openly?
Rachel, I tell you, I mean, you just look over the course of, like I said, of my 22 years, and you've been in the business a very long time, and you just seeing the athlete, not even just the black athlete, the athlete now stepping up on that platform and their willingness to be in the forefront and use their platform. You're seeing more guys do it and be willing to do it, and it's unbelievable to see this young generation that are in the forefront stepping up. And they're taking onus, and they're saying, we're not afraid. We're not afraid of the consequences. It's whatever. And you seeing the culture, and you're seeing the black athlete, you're seeing the white athlete. I mean, you see right there, everybody's in unity. You're seeing white athletes speaking up for the better for the black athlete, their teammate, their brother. That's what it's about. I know you wouldn't have seen that my rookie year, my first couple of years. You don't see that. So salute to this young generation who really putting their feet on the ground and speaking up. And that's how change has begun to happen because of them. And for our generation, yeah, we're like, okay, this is what we want, so we follow suit. So salute to them.
Absolutely. And Kendrick, I know that changed while you were in the league as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and Vince is right, though, Rachel. I mean, you look at guys like Jaylen Brown and Malcolm Brogdon, just those two young guys alone, right? They're not even 25 yet, but they have old souls, and they're great leaders. And I admire them. I look up to them. Every time Jaylen Brown gets a chance to talk about in social justice and things that's going on in the world that's not supposed to be going on in our country, but that is happening, I drop everything I'm doing and listen to him because he's always teaching me, and I'm older than him. And it's a great thing to see that this NBA is in great hands for us leadership-wise, not on the court, but off the court. The things that they're doing in the community is beautiful. The way that they're speaking out, and you could tell it's not a front, it's not fake. They're very passionate about it, and they're really serious about it. These are young guys that are making hundreds of millions of dollars. Hundreds of millions of dollars. They don't have to do this. They're willing to put it all out on the line for the safety of everybody and to everybody to get treated equally. And the last thing I'm gonna say is this: to every leader out there that's leading and trying to do things the right way and trying to persuade for change and doing things for the right cause, just be careful because we lost a lot of great leaders on standing on the front line. And right now we're living in a sick, evil world, and you got to make sure that you're very, very careful on how you move, where you move, and where you go. So that's just how I feel about it.
Rachel, Hey, Rachel Perk, if I could add one more thing to that, we talk about the young guys and all that, but I also want to kind of give some credit and salute the stars of our league that are older. The LeBron James, there's D Wade's. We talk about LeBron James has the biggest platform, and we know in past there's some of the stars of stars back in the day were a little hesitant to do so. He can care less what you think about him. He's stepping up in the forefront right along with the young generation. And using his voice, whether people like it or not, he's allowed to use his voice. We as athletes, you as a human are allowed to use your voice. So how is it a problem when we, the athlete, have something to say and have our opinion and voicing our opinion for change, like you said, Perk? But it's a problem. And so I want to salute the LeBron James and all of the other superstars, Chris Paul, so many guys out there, the veterans of the league as well, who are doing great things as well.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, right? Because who stood up, took that photo with the hoodies on, and that was really the rebirth of the start of this new athlete activism in the NBA. I always say we expect NBA players to be leaders in their community. We ask them to go do community events, hand out school supplies, be there for families in need with food, other supplies, things like that. If you want them to lead the community, you have to listen to their voices when they want to shape that community to be less violent, better education for their children and people who look like them, less fear. We ask these athletes to be involved, and they are saying, yes, I am here. I am involved. And they are some of the most vocal, most present, most high-profile young men and women in this country, certainly some of the most high-profile young African-American men and women in this country. And by saying what so many other people are thinking, it lets people know on the ground, hey, it's okay for me to feel like that too. I was so impressed with all of those guys last night, just as we talked yesterday about the women of the WNBA doing the same thing during their season. And I think we can expect more to come, and that's a good thing. All right, guys.
Oh, absolutely. And his name is not Peyton Pritchard. Rachel is P. Rabbit.
Oh.
He got to go. That's all he do is know to go full speed. I love him. You know, he was a sleeper.
He's your sleeper. I know it.
He's making me proud.
I don't really know, but I tell you what, if he continues to play this way, he will. You'll naturally, organically come up with one. I mean, he's really playing so well. Like you said, sleeper now, potentially become a starter on the Boston Celtics. Go for it.
No one has as good a nickname as Vince Carter. Half man, half amazing.
Hey.
Miss Payne.
It took me some years to get it.
Hornets Hawks. Miles Bridges corralling the ball. Fires a pass off Gordon Hayward's face. I mean, Gordon did get the and one. Only Righty got the bucket, Vince, right?
Yeah, that's one of those things like, hey, I'm trying to get rid of the ball.
Boom.
Look, here, you take, you know, my bad, bro.
Oops.
Yeah.
That's it. And then he gets the and one, so
It happens.
he tightened his eyesight up. Yeah, he tightened him up a little bit.
It's all good. Make Kiwis. This is your guy for Pelicans Thunder. Steven Adams leading the break and drops the behind the back dime. Perk, is he a point guard in the center's body?
Hey, look, Rachel, a lot of people don't understand Big Steven Adams got a lot in his game, right? He was taught by yours truly. You seen my video in the driveway when I was handling the ball. Big Steve got a lot in his game. He just a role player.
I'm sure he'll be thrilled to hear that, Perk. Miss Fear, Pistons Bucks, fourth quarter. Watch Giannis and rookie Isaiah Stewart underneath getting physical. Now, after the game, Giannis and his brother went over to confront Stewart, and Stewart did not back down. Perk, what do you think about the rook there?
I love it. Look, let me tell you something about Stewart. He is a beast. He's a physical specimen, and he's like that old uncle at the barbecue or the family reunion that you just don't want to mess with. That's what he is.
You could tell right there. He wants the physicality, and he stood there like, okay, yeah, you Giannis, you got an MVP or two, but bro, I'm still here. Like, hey, and he's gonna earn a lot of respect in the league because of that. Believe it or not, Perk, you know that.
That is true, 100%. Miss Jams, couple good throwdowns last night. First, let's look at Joel Embiid. Oh. And then David Nwaba is coming up next. Here we go.
Little? What are you gonna do with this? Oh.
All right, Vince. The dunk expert of all experts. Which was better?
So you look at Embiid here. Like, you catch the ball in the post. Like, I was gonna say, he forgot the dribble. That's like, come on, Perk. Drop, step, turn, no dribble up on a big man. And then you look at my guy here.
That was a great sword of the,
I'm gonna give it to the young fella, man. I'm gonna give it to the young fella because I feel like Joel Embiid can do this. Joel Embiid can do that whenever he wants to.
It's true.
You know that.
Yeah, but Vince, he don't do it all the time. So when he do something like that, that was more Shaq-like right there. And then Thomas Bryant did that, a guy who plays with tenacity and talk noise. I'm just saying.
We got more from that Joel Embiid Sixers-Wizards game coming up because, guys, Bradley Beal tied a Washington franchise record with a 60-piece last night. Wizards still couldn't find a way to pull out the win, though. Is that something, nothing, or everything? Stick around to find out. Starts with the NBA Countdown at 7 Eastern. Welcome back to The Jump. I'm Rachel Nichols, joined by Vince Carter, Kendrick Perkins, and it's time to play one of our favorite games here on the show, Something, Nothing, or Everything. Shout out our friend Kevin Wild. Starting with Bradley Beal, who dropped a career-high 60-piece last night. Beal had 57 through 3 quarters, was held to 3 on 1 for 6 shooting in the 4th, and after the game, he was not pleased.
I'm pissed off. I'm mad. I don't count any of my, career highs. They've been losses, so I don't give a damn. You throw it right out the window with the other 2 or 3 I had. I just want to win. Sometimes it forces me to score 50, 60, whatever the case may be, but I just want to win and whatever that looks like. So came up a little short tonight.
So, Vince, is the Warriors losing despite that 60-piece from Beal? Something, nothing, or everything? Wizards.
I think it's something to me for Bradley Beal. At the end of the day, I hear what he's saying, and it's cool. But when you're talking about 60 points, It's only a few guys in our league ever when you talking about scoring 50s and 60 points. Like, you're like, all right. When AI used to score, you like, all right, cool, he scored another 50. When Kobe scored it, you like, all right, cool, he scored another 50, 60, or whatever. I scored 50 points. It was a big deal, win or loss.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So I think for him, you got to cherish these moments in scoring 60 points, because there's not a lot of guys in our league that's doing that. We know a few, and that guy Steph Curry was special in a win. But I say this for the organization, they're trying to get like on the up and up and get back in the thing. So he makes it not a big deal, so that's fine. So I think it's nothing. But he has to cherish these moments.
But it should be something.
Yeah.
Well,
it should be.
Well, I think it's everything. And listen, I never scored 50 in the NBA, never came close to scoring 50. My career high was 29. So I don't even know how it feels to even touch 30. But I understand what you're saying, Vince, about him not taking it for granted, that his special individual performance. But I feel Bradley Beal frustration. And Rachel, you remember when I came on here last week and I told you, I said that the Washington Wizards defense was so bad that they couldn't guard, old folks at a nursing home at recess. Well, I tried to take a light on them and give them the benefit of the doubt. But guess what? They can't guard a parking lot full of parked cars right now. And here it is. You have a guy that's going out there and giving you 60 points. They scored 135 points, but gave up 141. I don't care how many big nights individually you're going to have or how many points you're going to score as a team. But if you're not going to defend, it's a problem. So this is everything to me, especially because I put the Wizards, I had them on a high threshold coming into this season, saying that they were going to be a top 5 team in the Eastern Conference. And I don't like to look bad, so I'm very disappointed in the Washington Wizards right now. So this is everything.
Well, let's flip around to the other side of that game, to the Sixers. They hold the league's best record now, 7-1. They won their 5th straight in that gutsy win over the Wizards. Is it something, nothing, or everything, Perk, on the Philadelphia side? Because you can take a look at Philly's next 5 games. They face the Nets, the Nuggets, the Hawks, 2 games against the Heat, the Grizzlies. It's a lot coming up.
It is a lot. And it's everything, because now they're going to get challenged, right? And here's why I say it's everything. Are they probably going to lose a game or 2? Probably so. I mean, dealing with the unique situation of the NBA, teams are losing games that they normally don't lose. I get that. But what I want to see is something out of the Philadelphia 76ers when they play the Brooklyn Nets tonight. Are they going to come in relaxed? And Vince, you could contest to this, because sometimes when stars are out, the other team could come in and be relaxed and not really take it that serious. I want to see if the Philadelphia 76ers are still going to play inspiring basketball, winning basketball on both ends, and still play that high-energy game.
Yeah, I think it's everything as well, and I agree with you, because I tell you, the one thing they have now is a little swagger. They're feeling good about themselves, and now you're going into Brooklyn, playing against a team who is projected to be in the finals. This is your test. It's like, okay, now what they're saying in this locker room, all right, the Nets are the Nets, but we 7-1 right now. We feeling good. They're playing with a 5-game winning streak, a lot to accomplish, and they're trying to prove that they belong. So I think this is everything. This is a great situation for them to be in. And what's really helping them, everybody's healthy. Their stars are starting. Everybody's bought into what Doc Rivers is trying to sell. And I think when you get a new voice in there, sometimes you have your success early. Good things are happening, and this is what's happening right now for them.
All right, I want to move on, guys, because Kawhi Leonard played last night. And why is that a big deal? Well, it was the second night of a back-to-back, which Kawhi hadn't played both nights of a back-to-back since April of 2017. That was several uniforms ago, guys. He played for the Spurs. He was an MVP finalist that season, by the way. Yesterday marked Kawhi's first back-to-back as a Clipper. And Ty Lue said that Kawhi told the team entering the season he was feeling healthy, planned on playing back-to-back. So, Perk, is Kawhi doing this first back-to-back both games since 2017, something, nothing, or everything?
It's everything. And you hit it right with what you said about Ty Lue, is that it's showing us that he's finally healthy. That's the most important part. But the second thing is that it shows his commitment to the team. It shows his respect to Ty Lue, because we heard the rumors. We saw the articles this past summer about Kawhi getting special treatment. So for Kawhi to take that next jump and show them that, hey, I'm healthy, I'm going to play back-to-backs. You know I'm not a vocal leader, but that's kind of leading by example and to me, in my eyes. And I think that's a positive step and going in the right direction for the Los Angeles Clippers.
And guys, I think it's everything as well. For also another reason. I mean, they think about, in Perk, you've talked about it all the time. You think about what happened to them last year and what was supposed to happen, where they were supposed to be. And they were supposed to make it to the Western Conference Final, and it didn't happen. Well, now it's only 72 games and not 82 games.
Right.
So right now, they feel like, hey, we need to hit the ground running and get as much of an advantage. I'm sure right now their goal is to get to gain home court advantage, if not have the best record. Well, if that's the case, you need your stars to play and win games, point blank. So I think it's everything, and it's a great sign. And yes, he's healthy, like you both said. So if you're going to be healthy, let's go out and win as many games as we can right now, and then we can rest and get ready for the playoffs on the back end.
Well, we saw last year, right? The Lakers put so much energy into the regular season, building those good habits, building good defensive habits, while the Clippers treated the regular season, frankly, differently, right? Like, oh, we'll get there in the playoffs. We'll play together, develop that chemistry in the playoffs. It seems like the Clippers are doubling down on the regular season, and we saw a little bit of that with Kawhi.
But you can do that when you have a team that's been together for a while. If you got a new team, it's new stars trying to figure out who's going to be the go-to guy and take the last shot of the game. Well, you need to play regular season to prepare for the postseason.
Absolutely, and we're seeing it. All right, guys, I want to get to talking about the Knicks, so just hang on through this next commercial. The Knicks have won 3 straight games. They're sporting a 5-3 record. How big a deal is it? Can they keep winning? Stick around for that discussion. First, though, here's what...
I'm a star, shining brightest in the darkest times. I'm a star, twinkle, twinkle, I bring the sparkle in, light your world up.